Hello everyone, Rurikhan here, bringing you guys another session of Kast. A session of Kast. God, my intros are getting weirder by the second. Usually session is a term I use when I'm going to record multiple episodes of a video game. But yeah, we're just going to be recording some Kast today. Just going to chillax a little bit because I'm extremely tired, but like I've mentioned in a couple of videos, I was going to be doing a Kast about all the stuff that's been happening to me this week. So we got a lot to talk about. This is the Kast version where I just ramble a whole lot about a whole bunch of stuff that I feel like talking about. So one could even call it the Kast vloggy edition, but it's not really just a vlog. It's a little bit more than that. So yeah, that is this particular Kast. And before we get started, I actually have two people that I would like to give special thanks and shout out to. The first person is actually SideStrafe, whom this week has really pulled through for me in what I consider to be the YouTube trenches. Because, I mean, let's face it, YouTube, at the end of the day, I mean, a lot of people don't realize all the stuff that goes behind the scenes on YouTube, and I'm not going to be elaborating too much on that. But YouTube, at the end of the day, is pretty much a war. It is a war, and SideStrafe has been pretty much a brother in arms, especially this last week where there was a lot of stuff going down, and he really pulled through for me, so thanks a lot, brother. Next up, I would also like to thank Caesar, even though I probably shouldn't say Caesar because he's got how do you call this I don't even know if you guys have a word for this in English, but it's basically he's got a symbol on top of one of the letters in his name, which basically lets me know that this is either a Portuguese or Spanish name, something like that. So we actually pronounce it Cesar. So thank you very much, Caesar, for donating Antechamber. Very nice of you. I plan on checking it out eventually when I have time, which is something that I haven't really been having in great abundance, but thank you nonetheless. So today I wanted to start the show by talking a little bit about the reboot of Kast, so to speak, because as you guys might have noticed, I did create a new show for it. I created a new playlist for it, and the reason for that is because I felt like just giving it a new life, because it was still in the old show that was called Rurikhan, and that show had something like the Rurikhan show, the Khan's game cast. How on earth did I ever create a show with that name? I will never know, but I did create it, so it was basically there, and I feel that I am changing Kast a little bit. I mean, the end of it, the focus, the core of it is still the same, but I am going to be doing it a little bit differently. I mean, I am still going to be talking about several subjects, but I'm also going to be doing Kast for stuff that I just feel like doing. For instance, a good example of that would be Kast Studio Tour, for instance. Another example might be I might be doing Kast where I just talk about one specific video game, which would be kind of like a review, if you want to call it like that, but that's something that I have planned to do as well. So basically, Kast is going to be replacing the old Rurikhan show completely. That is the whole point, because that show went through a lot of changes, and at the end, I mean, I guess if someone was to go there was so much confusion that it was just ridiculous. And even though I'm not a huge guy when it comes to branding, I do like keeping my content organized, and it just wasn't happening with the Rurikhan show. So I figured, just kind of evolve and make Kast its own show. I also I really like the name Kast. I think it really describes the stuff that I'm doing in this particular show. So that's cool. So there's going to be actually at least two editions that I have planned right now for the Kast. One of them is the PGN edition, which you guys might have noticed already. And the PGN edition is going to be where I actually go through news that were given to me by the Portugal gaming team. And I'll go over those news and give them, my personal opinion on some of them. Some of them will actually even be just, I don't even care about this news. I'm just reporting it to inform you guys. Some of the news will happen like that. But it is my objective to have kind of like a news type thing. Since I'm doing a news type thing already for the Portugal gaming team, it's not that hard to go ahead and make a cast about that. So yeah, that is the plan for PGN. The other version of Cast is just this one, where I just talk about wherever the hell I feel like it. Like today I'm informing you about the changes in Cast. Or I might be talking about discussion, because I actually have a video planned in regards with that. I want to discuss reviews and their impact in the industry. So I had that is going to be another Cast. That's the way that Cast is going to work from now on. It's just like, look, I feel like talking about this topic or topics, and I'm going to make a video about it. It's just the way it's going to work from now on. So something else I wanted to bring up was iTunes. I want to talk about iTunes because I really, really wanted to get Cast on iTunes. And I know that I can do it if I really want to. I can go ahead and put Cast on iTunes. The reason why I haven't done it, and most likely will not be doing it in the near future, is because there is no easy way to do it. It's like I can do it, but it takes a lot of extra work. Because if you guys remember, I talked to you guys about my workflow. How I have to record, render, record, then copy, then edit, do audio control. There's a lot of stuff that I got to do. And it might not seem like much, but on top of all of that, having to go to my website, creating a page, not really a page, it's actually a post, creating a post, putting an MP3 file on my Dropbox, getting the link, putting that on the post, and through that, then connect that post onto iTunes. It's a pain in the ass to put content on iTunes. It really is. As far as I can tell, there is no easy way to do it. So until I can figure out a real easy way to do it that doesn't interfere that much with my workflow, I am not going to be able to put Cast on iTunes. But it is my intention to eventually provide that service so that people can actually listen to the Cast on the go and not have to be on YouTube all the time, so that you can actually download it, listen to it on your iOS device, Android device, whatever device you happen to have that plays MP3 files, whatever. That is definitely my intention. And as soon as I find a specific solution, or if you guys know of a specific solution, bear in mind that my objective to go to iTunes is not video. I do not want to do video on iTunes at all, even though I know that there's ways to do that, but that is not my objective. I'm just saying this so that if any of you guys are going to be looking for suggestions, because I know that a lot of my audience likes to participate and sometimes look up solutions to problems I have, and I really, really appreciate that. But if you're going to be looking for suggestions, what I want is audio only for iTunes, so that people can both download it to iDevices, Androids, and even portable MP3 players. The whole point is that this needs to be very, very, very simple. So yeah, if I actually find a decent solution to put my YouTube videos on iTunes, I'll be sure to do that. But for now, it's not really going to happen. So like I said, I'm going to be working on the edition of Cast that's called the PGN edition to bring you guys news. I really appreciate the feedback you guys have been giving me on that, because it is very precious. I look over every single comment. I mean, I look over every single comment in my video. As most of you guys have noticed, I try to answer as much of the comments as humanly possible. As a matter of fact, I think I should address something, which is YouTube private messages. Those I really tend to overlook. And the reason for that is because I believe I've mentioned this in the previous video, but I tend to overlook YouTube private messages simply because YouTube's system is very garbled. It mixes everything together. It mixes up your comments, mixes up your personal messages. There's no real easy way to go through all the messages that people send me. And then on top of that, if I see a message on YouTube, it usually will not remain as if it has already been read. It will remain as unread. Then I'll go back and I'll see, oh, there's an unread message. I'll go and I'll read it again. It's like, it's the same damn thing. What the hell is wrong with you? So yeah, I mean, YouTube private messages are very, very messy. So sometimes I'll try to reply, but I can't guarantee that I'll give you a reply on that. Just like I can't guarantee that I'll reply to every single comment made in existence. Something that I've also been forced to do lately as well is I've been forced to remove a couple of comments, which is something I really never thought I'd be doing. But the reason why I remove them is just, look, I can take criticism. I have no problem with criticism at all. Like, you will see several negative comments on my videos that I will not remove because it's criticism and it's valid criticism, or maybe I did something wrong, or I don't know. But there is sometimes when people do valid criticism, and I can accept that. I have no issues with that. I will never delete a comment for that. But if your comment is like, I banged your mother last night and you're a fat piece of crap and all that stuff, yeah, I mean, there's really no decent thing that I can take out of a comment like that. And sometimes people just keep on pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And it's like, dude, I got other things to do. I want to actually respond to people that actually care and are doing either constructive criticism or just some decent form of criticism that is not just plain flat out insulting. So I have been deleting a couple of comments, and I'm not proud of that. But I mean, it's just something that's going to that was going to happen sooner or later. But like I said, it's not because they're negative. It's simply because all they're doing is insulting and adding absolutely nothing to the conversation. As a matter of fact, if you look into the comments of my videos, you will notice that I'm actually quite lenient with what I let people get away with. So, I mean, I don't think anyone can accuse me of being censor or trying to censor someone to hide their opinion. No, I'll just censor your ass if you're an idiot. Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about Portugal gaming as well. As you guys know, I've been working with Portugal gaming. I've been doing a specific show twice a week for their channel, youtube.com/Portugal gaming. And it's pretty much pro bono work. They don't really pay me. I mean, they can't afford to pay me because they're not even generating income themselves at this point. I mean, everyone in that team has a job, and then they just dedicate as much of their free time as they possibly can to working on the gaming website. So I've been doing a show for them, and it's a show that I actually really enjoy doing. It gives me a lot of work, gives me even less time to dedicate to do other things like maybe play video games. But it is very sad. It brings me a great satisfaction because I feel that it's a show that is really very professionally produced. And whenever I'm doing that show, I feel like I'm actually doing something that I don't know how to say this, because I mean, I am doing it in my native language, which is something that I've also never done before, and I've always wanted to do something in my native language. And it's one of those things. I can't explain it. I really like doing it. It is very fulfilling. You guys can check that out in youtube.com/Portugal gaming. The name of the show is actually RPG, which is something I kind of came up with because I thought it was kind of cool. But the whole point of the show is to bring you to bring the Portuguese people, the Portuguese speaking people, anyways, to bring them like the quick little snippet of news, like 5 minutes or less. In a scripted manner. It's actually scripted, as opposed to all the videos that I do on my channel. There I'm actually doing something that's scripted. And you guys know that I usually don't do scripted. I don't like scripted very much. But in there I actually find it to be a cool new experience, because it's something, like I said, it's something that I've never done before. It's in my native language, which again, it's something I'm not very experienced with. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. And it's also really pushing me to explore new ways of editing video and fooling around and whatnot. And it's something that I really like. I really do like fooling around with all that editing and that news. And it's like I said, the only real problem with it is that it gets so little views. It gets really low views because, let's be honest, YouTube at this particular point in time is saturated. Like, everybody and their mother all of a sudden decided, oh, I'm gonna be making videos. I'm gonna be making YouTube videos. I'm gonna become a star. I'm gonna make a living out of this. And I know it kind of sounds hypocritical of me, because that is obviously what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make a living on YouTube. But let's get this very clear. I had a passion for making videos even when I had a job, and people seem to be flocking to YouTube to try and get away from having a job, which I feel is wrong, because there's actually a lot of people on YouTube that are extremely passionate about making videos. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't go to YouTube and make videos. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that there's too many people coming to YouTube for all the wrong reasons. And by wrong reasons, I mean, if you look in YouTube right now, there's bound to be like 1 million YouTube users, easy, trying to do the same thing as PewDiePie, which I find to be ridiculous. I mean, I really don't want to speak against PewDiePie. Look, he started doing his face cam scare thing, which, to be completely honest, I feel it's completely fake, but that may be just me. And again, I hope I'm not insulting the guy if he ever actually runs up in this video, because he'll send like 10 billion haters my way or something. Like, oh, go over here and friggin' insult this guy. This guy insulted me. Go there and insult him. But it's like, to be completely honest, I don't have a lot of respect for his work. I just don't, because, I mean, what does he do? He plays supposedly scary video games, and then he screams like a little girl in front of a camera, and he gets a bazillion ton of views because people with low attention spans actually like watching that stuff. And, I mean, there's now, like I said, there's a million people now trying to do that, which is one of the reasons why I actually stopped using Facecam, because I don't want to be confused with that crowd. I mean, I realize I have my own style, but these days people just go into a video, they look and they see a Facecam and they're like, oh, this guy's trying to do the whole PewDiePie thing. This guy's trying to do the whatever. And it's like, it was never about that in my videos. As a matter of fact, I think I told you guys this story, but I started using the Facecam simply because the program, when I started recording on my Macintosh, it automatically did Facecam. That's the reason why I started doing Facecam for all of my videos, because I started like that, and then whenever I did without it, people would complain. But it's just gotten to a point where I feel that there's way too many people exploring the whole Facecam thing, and I don't like it. And I don't like getting mixed up in that crowd. And that is the reason why I've kind of dropped it, because, I mean, it's been ridiculous. I think that, again, YouTube is getting really, really saturated with people that aren't really that passionate about making videos. Like you can tell, I've seen a lot of videos recently by several people, and I just go and I notice that, and I see, look, you are not passionate about this. You're just doing this to make a buck. And it's like, there's so many people out there that are not getting the amount of views they should be getting. I mean, I'm not even talking about myself at this point. There's other people. There's a lot of really passionate individuals that are not, I mean, they're trying to make a living out of this and they can't because the market is ridiculously saturated. And that is the reason why my show on Portugal Gaming has so little views, because there's a bazillion people out there, friggin' monotone voice, that have absolutely no talent to make video, no passion to make video. Because let's make this clear, it's not even about as much of talent. It's not even a talent thing. It's more about actually having passion for what you're doing. And anyone can see when you're passionate about what you're talking about what you're playing. Anyone can see that. And I think that it diminishes people that are struggling on YouTube when there's all these other people trying to do this just to make a buck. It totally diminishes us, which again, it just revolts me a little bit. And I know that I might be sounding a little bit hypocritical, but it's just the way I feel about that whole subject. So yeah. The other thing about that's very nice, I seem to be completely going off on tangents, but that's what the Cast is all about. But anyways, the other thing that's very nice about working with Portugal Gaming, see what I mean by tangents? It's like, I was going that way, now I'm going this way. So it's gone. Don't try to follow my train of thought, okay? Just let it, how do you, just let go. Just let go and enjoy the ride. That's the way it works. So the thing that's very nice about working with Portugal Gaming is also actually working with a team, which is something that I've always enjoyed, is when you're actually part of a team and you're working with a group of people to achieve a common goal. I mean, I've always liked it. I've pretty much always done my YouTube thing on my own with, maybe I'll have a couple of people that help me out in a couple of projects and whatnot. Like I'll do stuff with SideStrafe, I'll do stuff with PallyTime, I'll do stuff with Vextrainer, but it's not really a team dedicated to a common goal. We're just friends helping each other out. But in Portugal Gaming, it's actually like it's a team. It's a team that's managing a website. And we're also managing the YouTube channel. But it's a team effort. And I really, really like that. It's very, very refreshing, because it's like, oh, look, I need this for the show. And it's like I can ask someone, get me this. You know, it's instead of me doing all the work, which is usually the way my videos end up being when I'm doing video solo anyways. It's just I'll do all the work for my videos and that's it. I have to do everything. And working as a team has so many advantages. Like before we actually started doing the show, I was like, okay, we're going to need an intro. And one of the guys like, I got that. So he did an intro in After Effects, whatever. I can't do After Effects. I suck at After Effects. So this other guy did the intro for After Effects. And then I'm like, okay, so we're going to need some lower thirds. I'm not even sure if people know what lower thirds is, but lower thirds is basically when something appears on your screen, like about here where I have my hand right now in the camera. Like something will pop out from the side like this and we'll have some text on it. That's what's called a lower third. So I'm like, I need some lower thirds. And he got me some lower thirds so that I can use in the video. And then it's like, I need a script because I'm not a good writer. I am not a good writer. So I'll ask someone that actually writes news on the website, make me a script for the episode, and they actually get news from the website, write up a script, which I basically read it out loud and make the modifications that I feel necessary to, to emphasize and whatnot, because they're good at writing. I'm good at talking. So I'll change what they wrote in a way that it sounds better when I say it. So, I mean, that's the thing, it's working as a team. And then I pick up all of that stuff and I conjure it all up into a video. And it's so amazing to actually see that the work of like 5 or 6 individuals all compiled up into a 5-minute video that I just feel it's very professionally done, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. There's just something about that is incredibly satisfying, regardless of the fact that it's getting absolutely no views. Like, you see, this is what I mean when I say passion. I am ridiculously passionate about doing those particular videos. And you guys might be wondering, how do we know that you're ridiculously passionate? Because those goddamn videos are getting less than 50 views and it takes me more than 5 hours to produce them. That's passion. You think any of those people out there right now, that there's like I said, there's like 1 million people out there trying to make a buck on YouTube without any passion at all? You think they'd be spending 5 hours on a video that's going to get 50 views? Hell no. Of course not. Nobody's going to do that. And that is passion. That's when you know when someone's passionate about a project and when they're not. But yeah, let's switch gears here a little bit. So something that all of you guys that are following me on my social networks have probably noticed this past week is that I've been having a lot of audio sync issues with my videos. I mean, you haven't noticed it by looking at videos on my channel. You probably might have seen one video that slipped through the cracks, which was the second episode of Tomb Raider, where the audio desync was just ridiculous. It was completely blown out of proportion. Like, I'm talking 4-second delay. And you guys might have seen on a couple of other videos that there have been similar problems. I mean, not as bad as what happened on Tomb Raider second episode. Definitely not as bad as that. But you might have seen other things like that, specifically in Far Cry 3, because Far Cry 3 is a very demanding game. So what ended up happening is I had actually recorded episodes 1 through 7 before I uploaded anything. And I edited them all together. As a matter of fact, that is the reason why I actually put that audio desync video out, to show you guys, look, in the timeline, everything syncs up. I can't do better than this. So I was really, really frustrated the day that I put up that video, because, again, it's something that I had said that I want to do at least one video a day or whatever. And that particular day, I did no videos at all, because it was just that one video, which was bad messed up, and I obviously didn't use it. So I was very, very frustrated, because for that one day, I did not achieve one of my goals for my channel, which is one video a day. I was very disappointed in myself, because obviously, I mean, you guys, I can say all I want. I can make up all the excuses I want. And the truth of the matter is, I don't have enough time to fully quality control my videos. I mean, look at it like this. If I'm recording something for like 3 hours and then I'll go and edit it, after I edit it and I put it to render, I don't have time to go to the final file and watch it all again to make sure that everything is fine. Like, sometimes if I think something might be wrong, I'll go there and I'll scrub through the file, but I will usually not watch a full file, because simply I don't have the time. I need that time to edit the next video, or to record the next video, or to just plain at least go to the living room and kiss my fiance, who barely even sees me because I'm stuck in this cave of an office. And yeah, I've been just working far too much, and I need to basically be careful about that. But the whole point is that I don't have time to fully quality control my own videos, because I'm just one guy. So sometimes stuff will slip through the cracks, which was the case of Tomb Raider 2. But like I was saying, I recorded and edited, rendered, and made thumbnails for episodes 1 through 7 of Tomb Raider. Then I went into full damage control mode trying to fix those videos. And I just couldn't. I could not fix them because the audio desync was so terrible that it was just not usable. So I decided I was going to scrap it and just re-record everything. So I ended up re-recording all of it. And while I was re-recording, I'd done a lot of experiments. So for the past 5 days, a great deal of time of my daily allotted time was spent testing the Live Gamer HD. Because here's the thing. The good thing about Tomb Raider is that it actually really stresses out your system because of the stress effects and all the other stuff that they put in that game. It really makes how do you even say this? It stresses out your system. It just takes it to the limits. At least my system, because my computer is like almost 3 years old. It's actually more than 3 years old by now. I've been kind of updating it a little bit here and there with a couple of parts, but it's obviously getting old. But since Tomb Raider stresses out your system, it really brings out the whole sync problem that I had been having in other videos. Because the problem with this particular issue is that when I would go to other videos, I would not be able to replicate the problem. So I could never really get to the root cause of what was really causing it. So what I ended up doing is, since now I had Tomb Raider, which was consistently giving me the sync issue, I tested the crap out of it. And I'm even going to put a link to a forum post that I did in the Avermedia forums that explains this at length for all of those of you that really want to know the details of the problem. Because I don't want to get too much into the details here, but for all those of you that really want to know the details of the problem that I was having with the Live Gamer HD, you can click the link in the description, go there and check it out. But basically, I've also had to try different recording setups. And I also had to use different video editors. Like, I think all of the episodes up until episode 7 have actually been edited in Final Cut Pro as opposed to Premiere. And I'm not that good at editing in Final Cut. So those episodes, I'm not going to say they're not up to standards, because I mean, it's pretty simple edits. It's just cut and adjust and cross dissolve. It's nothing groundbreaking. But I do fear there might be something wrong with them. I mean, I've been looking at them as I'm making them, scrubbing through them, making sure that they seem okay, that they don't have sync issues and whatnot. But some stuff might slip through the cracks still, and until those videos are out, is what I'm saying. But from episode 8 onward, I expect everything to return to normal. Because I did kind of found my own little workaround, even though it's not really, I can't call it a fix because I don't feel that the issue is fixed yet. The Avermedia guys are looking into all the feedback that I've provided, and we'll see what comes out of that. Let's see. Also, I would like to explain to you guys, because I know that a lot of people are going to say, why don't you just record with Fraps? Why don't you just record with Fraps? Because, I mean, I've even had several people suggest that to me. Is like, dude, just use Fraps. And here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. I have a workflow in place. I have a proper workflow in place to do my videos. And that workflow is fully dependent on the Avermedia capture card. Because here's the thing. My PC does the recording. My Macintosh does the editing. And the reason why I need this workflow to keep basically working like this is because this allows me to record something, put it on the Macintosh, edit it, put it to render, and while it's rendering, come back to the PC and record something else. If I use Fraps, I'm not going to be able to maintain this workflow. You guys might be wondering why. Because try sending your Macintosh a friggin' 500 gigabyte file from Fraps and then tell them, edit this shit. And your Macintosh is going to be like, yeah, about that. Why don't you grab that Fraps software you got there and shove it up your ass because it's goddamn useless. So yeah, I don't like Fraps. I don't think this is any news for anyone. The only times I've actually used Fraps is because I've been forced to use Fraps because I had no other solution. And I still don't feel that Fraps is that good of a program because it doesn't really do. I mean, for starters, you get a huge performance hit, which in my 3-year-old computer is terrible. Like, try doing Fraps on Tomb Raider. And besides the performance hit, the file sizes are too big to be workable on my Macintosh. Then I'd have to do editing on the PC, and my PC's monitor is also a lot smaller, so it makes editing harder. So yeah, there's just a whole bunch of disadvantages to me using Fraps, which is why I spent 5 days looking over the damn problem with the card. But yeah, it's just, I need to maintain that workflow. Otherwise, it's just, everything goes to hell. So something else I wanted to address is the whole live stream situation. And this time I'm actually going to talk about stuff that I hadn't talked about before. Because, I mean, I don't want to say bad things about anyone, and I don't want people to interpret my words as being offensive to anyone, because some people might be getting the wrong conclusion of the things that I'm about to say. But I want you guys to bear in mind that nothing that I'm about to say is of anyone's particular fault at this particular point. But yeah. So in regards to live streaming, as you guys are aware, I tried live streaming on YouTube. Actually, I did successfully live stream on YouTube, did a couple of sessions with God of War Ascension multiplayer, and I also did a Dark Souls session somewhere in there. And yeah, I did the whole YouTube live stream thing, and I'll be honest, I hate it. I do not like live streaming on YouTube. I was able to finally do it properly, but I still didn't like it because, for one, I don't like the fact that I have to commit to a schedule. And what I mean by that is, like, I have a lot of other stuff that I do for my video production. I can't, like, just say and set up a schedule on YouTube and say, look, every single day for these days this week, I'm going to be live streaming. I just can't do that. And especially, as you guys know, I'm going to be getting married in May. So as you guys can imagine, there's a lot of preparation work that's going into that. And it's just not, it's like, look, I got to record videos, got to edit, got to render, got to put them on YouTube, got to put meta tags, got to do all of this stuff. Also got to keep organizing my wedding. Also got to keep contacting people, managing social networks. It is ridiculous. And I can't just say, oh, look, at this time I'm going to be live streaming. Who knows what's going to happen at that time? As a matter of fact, a lot of times I streamed in Twitch, it was more like, oh, I feel like streaming right now. Let's go and stream. All I have to do is press a goddamn button and stream. In YouTube, you have to do all this crazy convoluted process, create a schedule. This event's going to happen. It's going to last this long. It's going to be like this. And it's way too bureaucratic. And I don't like the whole process behind it. I mean, if live streaming to YouTube was just like, look, I'll press a button, boom, I'm live streaming, that'd be cool. It's not. So I did not like my live streaming experience on YouTube. Also, YouTube will not record your videos if you happen to live stream for more than 4 hours. So it's like, if you live stream for 4 hours and 1 minute, your video is gone forever. They do not record it, which I find to be a little bit ridiculous, honestly, but whatever. It's YouTube's prerogative. They're allowed to do whatever the hell they want. Maybe when they actually get that streaming thing out of beta, maybe it will be different. Who knows? And then there's the Twitch.tv situation, which as I've actually mentioned quite a few times as I was live streaming, Twitch.tv never pays me. And, you know, I kind of made fun of that thing. I basically was like poking fun of that. And the reason that happened is, let me explain something. Back in the days when I was with TGN, there was one time where I was asked if I wanted to be a Twitch partner. And naturally I said, yeah, I want to be a Twitch partner. So they set up they contacted Twitch for me, and they set up my channel as a partnership channel. And all the revenue was being sent to them, to TGN. And I never received anything. But then again, it doesn't really matter because the revenue was so little that it was completely inconsequential. But at the end of the day, one of the things that always demotivated me to live stream on Twitch was the fact that, look, I don't know where my money's going. I have no idea. It's like, I don't even care how much money I'm making. The whole point is, imagine that from one day to the next, all of a sudden I would get like 3,000 concurrent viewers for whatever freak accident. Like, you guys are saying that would never happen. Wouldn't it? What happened during the Dark Souls live stream? I had the most viewed Dark Souls Prepare to Die live stream on launch day. I had the most viewed live stream of all the Dark Souls live streams. So I mean, as you can see by this example, you can see that all of a sudden a channel on Twitch can explode, just like all of a sudden. It can happen. And the whole point is that, so if my channel were to explode, where would all that money go? You know, I wouldn't know, because I was asking people that I know on TGN to tell me about this stuff, like who's managing the Twitch.tv accounts. And currently nobody really is aware of that. Like nobody has really, they haven't really organized themselves with the whole Twitch partnership thing. And I'm not saying this in an evil way, because I actually really like the people that are currently organizing TGN. They're people that actually worked with me back when I was still with TGN. So I'm not doing this in a criticizing way. It's just that whole Twitch thing was not handed over to them in a proper way, so everything was ridiculously confusing. So then I also asked TGS to look into it, because TGS is obviously my current network, and they also have connections on Twitch.tv. So I asked my current network to look into it to see if they could fix it so that TGS would receive the revenue and then they could pay me. And I think it was like 2 months and nothing happened. And last night, basically what I did was like, look, I'm done messing about. So I went straight up to partner support in Twitch.tv, and I wanted to avoid this for a reason. I wanted to avoid this because if I was to approach Twitch.tv as an individual, I knew I was going to lose my partnership. I just knew it was going to happen. So I went into this fully aware that this was going to happen. So I sent them a message and I was like, look, I need to figure out what's happening with my revenue, who's actually getting paid, what's happening here, what's happening with my channel. And they sent me back an email and said, oh, your partnership was actually set up through TGN by George Vanus, and all of your revenue is going towards the main TGN account. So then I asked, so how much revenue have I made so far? And they said, since January 2012, I had made like $13 or whatever, which is not much, but who knows how much I made in 2011, which was a year where I actually live streamed quite a bit. But I don't know, and quite honestly, I don't care. I just wanted to see the whole thing settled, you know? And so basically what they said is also, well, if you're no longer part of TGN, we're going to remove your partnership. And I was like, okay, whatever. So basically my Twitch.tv account, no longer partnered. Probably if I go to live stream there now, you're not going to see the option 360p, 480p, 720p. You're not going to see any of that. You're probably just going to see the option to see the stream at whatever resolution I happen to be streaming, because that is a partner only option. But that might be something that I might be doing more of in the future, live streaming on Twitch.tv again, because I do miss live streaming a little bit. I felt I had not a huge audience when it came to live stream, but I had a dedicated audience, and I miss interacting with those people, and I want to go and do live streams on Twitch. And now that the whole revenue situation is settled, which currently the revenue situation is, I'm simply not going to get paid. I can actually just do whatever I want on my Twitch channel and just not even worry about it. But you guys know I'm just a little bit OCD with that kind of stuff. It's like, where's it going? Like, I don't care if it's like 0.00001 cents. Where's it going? You know? And that's the way you got to be if you really want to make a living online doing this kind of stuff. You really need to always know where your revenue is going, because there's a lot of scams going on out there. And yeah, so that's something that's been settled. And now I'd also like to talk a little bit about the current projects that I'm going to be working on for the foreseeable future. As you guys know, I'm currently doing the Dark Souls co-op thing with PallyTime. That will continue all the way until completion. And we might have a surprise for you guys at the end. Well, not really at the end, but we might have a surprise for you guys after we finish that particular run through. I'm not sure. I still have to talk with PallyTime about it. We talked a little bit about it today, but I really don't want to reveal any details of something that might happen or not. I've also been receiving a crap ton of comments of you guys saying, you need to do Lord's Blade, Siren, and Artorias. You need to do Law Track and Sunbro. You need to do this and this and that and the other. And it's like, it's definitely interesting. But I mean, you guys do realize that both in comments in my channel and PallyTime's channel, there's probably already been suggested over 50 different combinations that we should do. And that's just not doable. I mean, let's be honest here. It is a big time investment to do a full co-op playthrough. You guys need to keep that in mind. It is a big time investment. Like even today we recorded 3 hours and a half straight up of Dark Souls co-op. And I realize that a lot of you are going to be excited about that, but that is ridiculously draining on any commentator. As a matter of fact, I have to hand it to PallyTime because the guy's a goddamn trooper. I mean, I've never met anyone that could handle my 3-hour recording sessions. Anyone. And PallyTime, he just keeps on going. He's a goddamn trooper. I mean, shout out to PallyTime. I mean, the man's amazing. He can record for over 3 hours, which, like I said, I have never met anyone that could record for over 3 hours whilst maintaining their enthusiasm and their voice intact. Some people just break kind of like this when they comment for too long. But yeah, we're definitely going to be keep on doing that Dark Souls co-op. You guys seem to be really, really enjoying that, and I'm really happy because I was scared that people were actually not going to enjoy it that much because I had promised a challenging playthrough. And in a way, this ended up being a little bit challenging, but it's just the whole thing of the challenge playthrough and the PallyTime situation. It all happened in between the challenge playthrough, so I decided, look, I really should give priority to this co-op thing because I think it's going to be amazing. And it's also going to open up the doors to a whole lot of other collaboration possibilities, and I'm really excited to see how that goes. Another project that is definitely going to keep going in the channel is the God of War. I'm just not sure that I'm going to be playing it all the way in hard mode. I realize that a lot of you guys have said, oh yes, we want the hard mode, but I'm actually getting to a point where I'm not even having that much fun in the hard mode. And let me explain why. And this is actually a really good time to talk about difficulty levels. Because, I mean, man, I'm wheezing a little bit. I'm sorry. It's my throat. My throat is actually spent a little bit because today I've already recorded over 4 hours and a half of footage. And I've also been editing and, basically keeping myself really busy today. So my throat is a little bit spent, but it's still working. It's still running. But like I was saying, I want to talk a little bit about difficulty. So if you guys look at the difficulty, for instance, of a game like Dark Souls, okay, a lot of people will say the game is hard, but if they know anything of what they're talking about, nobody will ever say that Dark Souls is unfair, if you know what I'm saying. Now, I'm not saying that God of War Ascension is unfair because even despite the fact that I'm a huge God of War fan, I don't have a lot of experience in God of War titles. So I can't really talk that much about the difficulty. But the thing is, I've actually Googled it a little bit to see just if people were having problems in the hard difficulty. And some people were actually saying, oh, you need to do this or this, and basically suggesting kind of cheap tactics. Like, for instance, something that you guys will see in episode 4, which I'm not sure if it's coming out tomorrow. So by the time you see this video, you might have already seen what I'm talking about. But in episode 4, you guys will see that I die a whole bunch of times. And the reason I died is because I was trying to figure out a good way to handle a big crowd of mobs. So I die several times. Like I died, 10 times in that thing? I don't know. I recorded every single one of them, so you guys feel free to count. So I died several times. And in the end, when I actually beat that fight, I used what I considered it was a really, really cheap strategy. Because here's the thing. In God of War, when you pick up an enemy with your Blades of Chaos, because you can throw your Blades of Chaos and they will stick onto someone and that someone will be attached to your Blade of Chaos. Then you can toss that someone. While you're tossing them, Kratos is basically getting what in Dark Souls we refer to as invincibility frames. So while I'm tossing someone, nobody else can hit me. So I got to a point in that fight where I was like, so I can basically grab this guy, throw him, then grab someone else, throw them, and keep throwing everyone nonstop, and I'll be invincible. And yeah, that's actually what people were suggesting that you should do in hard difficulty. And I'm like, but that's really cheap. That makes no sense. I don't like playing like that. That's cheap. That's like going around Dark Souls, like landing backstabs all over the place, even though I do that quite a bit in Dark Souls. But I mean, in Dark Souls, it's not always easy to go behind a monster and backstab. I mean, you're not invincible while you're trying to land backstabs or while you're trying to parry stuff. You're not invincible. Whereas in God of War, it's just like, I'm going to grab this dude, smack him against the other dude, grab this dude, smack him against the other two dudes, grab this one, and you make a big pile of dudes just slamming them on top of each other. And I don't think that's fun. And I don't think that's, that's not really difficulty. That's not that much fun. Another example, for instance, I killed some kind of monster on top of a tower that I don't even remember. But the whole point was I was trying to do combos on him because that's what the whole God of War series is about, is landing massive combos, destroying mountains of enemies, as well as blood and gore and all that stuff. I feel that that's what God of War is about. And the combat system of God of War is more about landing combos. And what I ended up doing to kill this monster is, as opposed to actually going for combos, because I would be locked in combos and unable to dodge the monster's attack, I would just use the strong attack, which basically slams the Blades of Chaos into the ground. And that's all I did. I'd go up to the monster, boom, strong attack, get away. The monster would do his attack, I'd go back, boom, strong attack, get away. And I killed the monster just like that, and it's not fun. You guys need to understand, it's not whether a matter of is it really hard? No, it's not really hard. It's just not fun. And not only it's not fun for me, it doesn't really seem to produce what I would consider to be entertaining footage. I mean, I look at it and it's like just me going around and like, boom, then getting away, boom, getting away, boom. And it's like, I don't get it. I don't like that play style. So that might be one of the reasons why I might be switching to normal. So, and damn, my monitors keep going away, which is why you guys are seeing the light conditions change. As usual, I'm sorry, the light conditions in my studio are still not the best. I need to figure out what kind of lighting system I want to put in here, which I still haven't figured out. Also, maybe even do some green screen, who knows. But yeah. Anyways, you see what I mean? I mean, the thing is, the Dark Souls difficulty, regardless of how powerful my character is, I can always do certain things. Like, for instance, I can always parry. I can always go and backstab and, and kind of do reliable things to get me out of situations that I don't really find that are cheap. In God of War, I would just like grab someone, slam them against someone else. And in a boss, you just go and you do strong attacks as opposed to doing a combo. But then again, this could just be my inexperience. I don't know. I'm still struggling with myself to figure out if I should do the hard playthrough all the way or not. Up until this point, I have recorded 5 episodes in hard, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know, because then there's also the thing that I'm going to go back and play through the whole game again if I do decide to do the normal, because you can't go to a menu and lower the difficulty setting to normal. You can't do that in God of War. You have to actually start the game all over again in normal. And I understand it's probably because of trophies and whatnot. I understand why they're doing it, but that would be an easier way to do it. It's just like if you lower the difficulty, it will just tell you, look, if you lower the difficulty, you're going to miss out on the heart trophies, and that's that. It would have been a better way to do it, but whatever. And then another project that I'm going to see through all the way is also going to be Tomb Raider. Because I'm surprised, because I was not expecting to like Tomb Raider, and I actually really like it. I find it very satisfying, and I think the reasons why I like it is because the game is not what it advertised itself as being. Because the game was advertising itself, oh, it's this survival thing. Lara's going through this origin story, and it's very sentimental, and she kills a deer, and she goes all in tears and like apologizes, and when she kills the first man, she's like, oh my god, I killed a person. And so I was like, yeah, this is going to be a whole bunch of sentimental mumbo jumbo that I really don't care about. And then when you actually get to the game, you get those 2 scenes, and after that it's just violence all the way. As a matter of fact, there's actually some fatalities in that game that are more violent than God of War, So, I mean, you guys know that I like that kind of stuff. I mean, I know it's kind of sadistic and whatnot, but I mean, let's face it, it's a video game, okay? I realize that some people are annoyed with the fact that video games have a ton of violence and all that, but at the end of the day, I can totally respect the opinion of those people, but I hope they don't come up to me and telling me like, you shouldn't be playing violent video games, because I'm just going to go like, look, it's a video game. I play whatever the hell I want, so. But anyways, I actually really like the combat system in that game. It's very satisfying. I like landing arrow headshots. Really digging that. Like I said in a previous video, it is the one game that has actually managed to put a bow in my hands where I actually like using the bow, which is surprising, because up until this point, no game has managed to put a bow in my hands that I truly enjoyed, unless it was an RPG. But yeah, Tomb Raider, that's going to happen. Just a little bit of side news now because this is pretty much the end of the show that we're getting at. I finished Gravity Rush today. I might actually do a cast dedicated specifically to Gravity Rush to talk a little bit about that game. And let me just tell you guys, I loved Gravity Rush. Gravity Rush is amazing, okay? And if you guys own a Vita and you don't own Gravity Rush, go out and buy it right now because Gravity Rush is a really cool game. I loved it. And I think it is one of the few games that really brings some of the Vita's features to life without abusing them, which is essential. So I finished Gravity Rush, really loved it. And I might be doing a cast specifically for Gravity Rush. Also, I haven't been playing a lot of Warframe. I really, really miss playing Warframe. Actually, I'm considering just playing Warframe for an hour to use as background footage for this video. So who knows, maybe I'll go play Warframe right now. Well, maybe not right now because it's kind of late, so I don't know. But I miss playing Warframe, but I've just been far too busy the past couple of days to even touch Warframe. The update 7 has come out. I haven't played since the update 7 has come out, but I'm very curious popping back in, grabbing my Rhino armor, my Bolter rifle, and my Fraggle hammer, and smack some bitches. So yeah, looking forward to that. And on top of everything, as usual, just to keep you guys in the loop, I haven't been sleeping much. Not much at all. But that's usual news, isn't it? So anyways, thank you very much for watching. As usual, leave me your feedback, all that kinds of good stuff. I want to make sure and put my face in, at least try to put my face in casts for all those of you who did enjoy the videos where I did the face cam. I'm going to be doing a lot less face cam nowadays, and at least this way you can still kind of relate to me the same way that you related in those videos, and I still will not be put in the same crowd as all those other people that are basically exploiting face cams and they're just faking reactions. Because, I mean, let's face it, a lot of the reactions I've been seeing on face cams are just plain bullshit. Grow up, people. Be a little bit more authentic, shall we? Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.